Hello, hello. Welcome back to the weekly Monday Motivation Podcast, No More Excuses. I am your host, Sandy Ballard. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening and sharing the podcast with others on your social media, because without you, I wouldn't have hit another milestone. I am officially over 50,000 and total downloads, and in May, I hit the highest downloads I've ever had, close to 3,900. So that is super cool. At the last time I checked, it was 3,890. So super close, really cool, and just exciting. And because, it's been just a crazy start to 2020, right? And the last few months, especially, I like to call it a shit show. And we're halfway through the year. This is June 1st, people. Oh my gosh. I finished May strong, so it was really cool. I don't know how you guys are doing, and I'm hopefully sound a little more energized. I could tell, I was telling one of my friends, I could just tell, I could feel my energy was low because I haven't been around people. I'm such an extrovert that I need those people. But because of things being opening back up and people are getting out, we were able to hang out with some friends a couple different times that we know have been quarantined themselves and been healthy. So we felt safe enough to meet up with them for dinner and drinks. And one of our friends came actually to our condo. So I think that fed my energy. So what about you? Yeah? What have you been doing? Peeking, putting your little baby toe out there. And as I mentioned in last week's podcast, if we're all supposed to be in this together, then let's truly be in this together and make big shit happen. All right? As you begin to reopen and go back to the office or back to work, and to use a term I saw on Virgin Company's e-newsletter, I was trying to think, what was it? Business as unusual. It's one of their companies, Virgin Startups, uses that. They're doing articles every, I think, month, and it's called Business as Unusual. And I thought that was a hell of a lot better way to say than the new normal, right? And there's still things that need to change. Hopefully, many of us during this whole pandemic have pivoted. Restaurants have gone to takeout, and now they're going to expanded seating outside of areas where they couldn't normally be. So there's still things as they have pivoted that need to change. And, why and how did you? Well, why? Because we had to, right? But how? And now it's time to put this panDamnit, the vid, uh, you know, give it the back burner, the boot, right? I think we're all a little tired of talking about it, but as we're starting to get back to living and meeting with people and catching up, I want to start getting us focused on the future. We have 6 more months starting today in 2020. What are we going to do with it, right? As hard as it may seem, and again, like I said, as we're catching up with people, what have you been doing? How have you been? Have you been doing your best during the pandemic? What it's going to be hard to put that topic of the COVID behind us. It's going to still be there. And, there's still things that are uncertain. There's still decisions about events being canceled and some things not even opening. And one of my clients' husband, I think I had mentioned last week, is not going back to work until January of 2021. But he has the ability to do that, to work from home remotely. And here's a great quote. I'm not sure who wrote it, but it's in my book, one of my books, and it's always on top of my mind. If the plan doesn't work, change the plan, but not the goal. Plans need to be fluid, and they have to be flexible to accommodate for the changes, the shit that comes flying at you, right? Like 2020, because the last 3 months, if not longer for some people, it's been a shit show. And honestly, I don't want a do-over. We joke about do-overs. I don't want a do-over. I want to move forward and keep dodging the shit as it comes flying at me. And I hope you do as well. You know, that doing that will keep me on my toes instead of getting complacent. Because I think a lot of us fell into some sort of complacency. Hence the reason we had a giant kick in the ass. Our lives and world were turned upside down. They were definitely turned upside down, and we just we got woken up, right? We got woke, as people like to say. Hopefully that word it's done. That phrase is done. And yes, I've spoken with many people whose jobs have never stopped. Some have even gotten busier, but they're still affected. You know, the two of the people we had dinner with, one has never stopped working because she's in healthcare in the mental health area, and the other one's a dental hygienist who hasn't worked. You know, so one household, two different complete situations, but everyone was affected. And for those that I know, who set their goals and created a plan, they were still affected, but they're recovering easier because their goals didn't change. Stacy and Susan, that I know out here in California, they didn't give up on their goal of opening their boutique. Serendipity. It's opening at the end of June instead of April, but they had to modify their plan. And there's many of those. Like my eye doctor client back in Westfield, Indiana, Busby Eye Care, they have had to create a new plan. They've had to they've had to delay their reopening in May, and then they have to go back to cut down to 50% capacity as far as clients and stagger them. So everybody they're keeping their eye on helping their clients, but they're having to modify how, right? And they had to delay things. And they did have to furlough some staff. So let's all start looking forward because it's comeback time. Let's discuss what now. Let's go on with business as unusual. Love that. Wish I'd come up with that. I'd rather use that term, like I said, than the new normal. So let's look at June, just June for now. Okay, let's not get too crazy because now we have to start living again. So what was your word for the year? If you didn't have one, you better do one really fast. Contact me at sballard@growingforward.biz for your word of the year worksheet. Okay, my word of the year is elevate. And so focus on one thing that changed in your plan and how can your word of the year help you. For example, my word is elevate. What changed in my plan? Well, I went from in-person coaching sessions and workshops to Zoom sessions and online courses. How my word elevate has helped already is that I had to elevate my marketing efforts, my branding. I still haven't finished my website, but I had so much to work on. I had to all of a sudden take all my worksheets and my business plan and everything I did individually and in person with my clients. I had to create an online course. So if you don't know, I do have 2 online courses now. And again, so my word elevate has helped me because I had to quickly elevate my marketing efforts. And because of that, I just won an award for business development. So it clearly worked, right? So going forward, elevate. My word of the year, I need to elevate my connections and find ways to continue to help others and connect with them at a different level because things are different, right? And I want to, moving forward, I want to continue to help others who haven't figured out how to pivot, haven't figured out how to reemerge and make a comeback, because you will make a comeback and you'll be better than ever. All right? I look forward to hearing from you. I want to know what your word of the year is, what changed in your plan, and how your word of the year has already helped you or will help you going forward. I look forward to hearing from you. Again, thank you so much for sharing this podcast with others. Please do. And again, if you haven't, you need to, because I'll be drawing the names for the 5 people that won coaching. Because I said when I hit 50,000, 5 people who share my podcast and tag me, whether it's in an email or on social media, you get a chance to win. The first 5 people to do it win $500 in coaching sessions. All right. So if you haven't already, I'm at 50,000, man. Get to it. Chop it chop. Look forward to hearing from you. Have a great, badass week. and continue to make big shit happen. Cheers.